Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a really powerful philosophy of intimacy and power. Now, this isn't just a list of techniques. Think of it more like a masterclass. It's all about a new way of looking at seduction, framed entirely for a woman's journey to becoming this absolutely unforgettable source of bliss. And this quote, it really gets to the absolute heart of it all. See, the core idea we're going to be exploring is that genuine, powerful seduction, it's not about pleasing someone else. It actually comes from your own fulfillment, your own inner light. When you're lit from within, that energy, that becomes the most intoxicating force in the entire room. Okay, so here's the path we're going to follow on this little journey. First up, we'll awaken what the book calls the sovereign seductress inside you. Then we'll get into the actual chemistry of connection. After that, we'll learn how to master the wave of arousal and claim your throne of power. And we're going to wrap up with what is maybe the most crucial rule of all. Her pleasure is her rule. So, what even is a sovereign seductress? Well, according to this philosophy, she's a woman who has truly mastered this delicate balance, between our deep biological programming and this conscious, almost playful sense of artistry. It's about understanding the science behind it all and then using that knowledge to create an experience of pure bliss that is just completely unforgettable. And to even begin that kind of mastery, we have to talk chemistry. Specifically, when we're talking about deep intimacy, the hormone oxytocin is described as your single most powerful ally. It's like the key ingredient for creating a really profound and lasting attachment. What's so interesting here is how it reframes oxytocin. It's not just some feel-good chemical, right? It's the molecule of devotion. I mean, think of it like the secret chemical spell that anchors his heart to you, forging this bond that lasts long, long after the physical moment is over. So here's the thing. This isn't random. You can actually do this consciously by intentionally extending the duration of physical contact. Longer kisses, that rhythmic skin-to-skin intimacy. You're actively kicking off this hormonal flood. You're not just a partner in that moment. You literally become the source of his deepest sense of security. You're forging that powerful chemical bond. Okay, so once you've laid that chemical foundation, you can start building on it with the art of the experience. This next part is all about intensifying that peak moment by shifting away from a straight line and into something the source calls wave-like arousal. And this just lays out the difference perfectly. A linear approach is like a sprint to the finish line, right? It's predictable, but the wave-like approach, that's a dance. It's about building desire up to a peak, then pulling back just a little bit to let it simmer, and then building it again. This teases the nervous system, and it actually expands his entire capacity for pleasure, which makes the final release this incredible total body event. A really key part of mastering that wave is maintaining a little bit of mystery. The book advises against, laying all your cards on the table at once. Give him a glimpse of what you can do, a specific touch, a unique technique, and then hold something back. This creates this state of perpetual anticipation. It's a powerful desire that makes him always want to come back, to discover what else you have in store. All right, now we get to what the material calls the most profound physical anchor you can possibly establish. And this isn't about what you do with your hands or your mouth. This is about the literal center of your sovereign power, the conscious mastery of your pelvic floor muscles. These three techniques, they're described as such rare skills. Skills that provide a sensation he simply will not find anywhere else. It starts with that resistant, hugging entrance, which signals you're an active participant. It continues with a living rhythm, the ability to pulse and grip from within. And it all culminates in the command of possession, a sustained, firm contraction right at his peak moment. And the power of that final anchor is just magnified immensely when you pair the physical act with a direct verbal command. Imagine matching that firm, sustained physical grip with this whispered declaration of possession. You are anchoring his highest moment of pleasure directly to his absolute devotion to you. And this brings us to maybe the most important rule of the sovereign seductress. After all this focus on chemistry and technique, the ultimate principle is this. Your pleasure, it's not just some secondary goal. It is the central, most powerful tool in your entire arsenal. The source makes this incredibly bold statement directly. It says that for a mature partner, seeing your genuine, uninhibited delight, the way your body just surrenders to its own pleasure, that is the ultimate validation of his own masculinity. Your radiant orgasm becomes his greatest fetish. So how do you do this? It's through something the author calls double arousal. It means you have to be the master of your own body, to know your own personal map of bliss. When you actually show him how you pleasure yourself, you become a volcano of your own desire. And this just completely flips the dynamic. He's no longer just the provider, he becomes this invited guest, a devotee to a fire that you lit all by yourself. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that seduction as a chore or as a service you perform, that's a trap, and it just drains your magnetism. The sovereign standard demands that it must always be a path of self-love. When you prioritize your own enjoyment, you become the main character of your own erotic story. And that authentic pleasure creates a magnetic shine that no magic spell or technique could ever replicate. And really, this is the beautiful conclusion to it all. This entire practice, from understanding chemistry to mastering these techniques, is ultimately an act of radical self-love and self-possession. When you are enchanted by your own body, by your own pleasure, you just become magnetic, captivating, and completely unforgettable. So as we close this out, the final question isn't about what you can do for someone else, but what you can unlock within yourself. This entire philosophy reframes seduction as an internal state of being, a radiance that just spills outward. So the only question left is, how will you choose to radiate yours?
You can find the electronic version of book She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain at wishforlove.org.